Hello and welcome to Talk FC, and welcome back here to the channel, guys. And today we are going to be discussing Lionel Messi and how we are going to overcome the loss of our star man and the best player in the world for 3 weeks. How are we going to counteract that? What kind of shape are we going to use? Who is going to come in and try to fill that massive void? The answer to that is nobody. If we're going to get through this, if we're going to really react properly, we need to share around that responsibility. And I'm going to be showing you 3 different shapes that we could use in some vital games that we've got coming up. Let's do this. So first of all, guys, just to bring you fully up to date, I'm sure that you've heard by now, but Lionel Messi will miss 3 weeks with that arm injury. He suffered a fracture of the radial bone in his right arm, which will be keeping him out for that 3-week period. Although there are some reports very early on in Barcelona that say that Messi's working really hard, he's pushing the boundaries to accelerate the process, and he's actually targeting a return before those 3 weeks are out, which doesn't surprise me at all. Messi is a warrior. He loves being out on the pitch. He hates being away from it, and he'll be doing everything he can right now to really recover as quickly as possible. And of course, it is worth noting the 5 games that Lionel Messi will miss with that injury are as follows. Inter Milan at home, that's going to be coming this Wednesday in the Champions League. Then Real Madrid this Sunday. El Clasico will be without Messi and Ronaldo for the first time since 2009. He'll then miss the match against Cultural Leonesa, and that's a game, to be honest, that he probably wouldn't have played in anyway. Then there's a trip away to Rayo Vallecano, which should also be a decent game for us. And then a big one, Inter Milan at San Siro. Will Messi be there or won't he? As of right now, we're not expecting him to be back, but of course, like I say, he is working round the clock, and that is going to be a decisive game. And look, you know, when Lionel Messi gets injured, all of our heads go down. We're devastated. It's horrible to see a player that good missing any time on the pitch at all. But if there's one thing, one small thing that could come out of this Messi injury, you've got to look to Malcolm. And that is where we're going to start today in this video. Malcolm surely now will get a chance in the team at some point. Surely now Valverde has to look to his options. He's got Dembele, he's got Suarez, he's got Coutinho, but the man that has to come in must be Malcolm to give us something new, give us something fresh. But the question that I'm going to ask now is, how is Malcolm going to be feeling to know that he's a last resort? Surely his confidence right now has taken a hit, and he's going to need several games to get going. He's been nowhere near the team, only 25 minutes played, and will Valverde's lack of faith in him, lack of confidence in him, really hurt us now when we actually really need him? And speaking of confidence, guys, there is one more thing that I would like to discuss before we do move on to those formations and those shapes, and that is regarding Ousmane Dembele, because obviously his performance on the weekend, I myself highlighted it in my match review, it wasn't good enough. There were some moments out there which were not suitable in a Barcelona shirt. At times he looked disinterested, like he wasn't trying, he lost the ball through lack of effort, and that is never going to be acceptable. I can certainly accept players losing the ball when they're trying things, when they're doing something and taking a risk, but you can't lose it through lack of effort. So that's somewhere where Dembele has to improve. But I think the criticism has probably been a bit too strong simply because of that confidence issue. We're talking about Malcolm now, he's been frozen out, but Dembele was in a very similar situation. He started the season very well, he was looking confident, he scored some crucial goals, and in the last few weeks, completely frozen out by Valverde. Now, it's not a complete excuse, you've still got to come on, you've got to give your all, you've got to give 100%, but just be careful with Dembele. He has got the talent, he has got the ability, but he does need a run in the team. You can't afford to freeze somebody out. As good as he is, as talented as he is, it will damage his confidence. So like I say, there are certainly things that he can do better. He will know that. Valverde will certainly know that, but we can't keep denting this youngster's confidence. He needs a run in the team. He needs minutes constantly if we are going to see the best Dembele. And with Messi's injury, that time could be now. And we will start right here with our first formation, which does fall in the 4-3-3 category. And you will notice here, it is nothing drastic. And I think right now, going into the game against Inter, going into the game against Real Madrid, this is the most likely thing from Valverde to do. And that's basically to play it safe. Ter Stegen, Alba, Longley, Piqué, Semedo, that could be Roberto, either one. And then Busquets, Arthur and Rakitic in midfield. And then I think it's a like-for-like swap. Messi out, Dembele in on this right-hand side, and then you keep that front three pretty constant. And that'll also mean Malcolm will not be in the starting lineup. I think it's most likely that he'll be on the bench for the first few games, maybe integrate him slowly, because like I say, he needs to get up to speed because he's had no game time. So I think right now the only option for Valverde is to bring Dembele in on this right-hand side, which is his favoured side. He does often play well with Nelson Semedo. Those two can combine very well on that right-hand side. I was disappointed really we didn't see more of that when he came on against Sevilla at the weekend. You've got Coutinho here in the front three, who's been playing well of late, scoring goals against Tottenham and then against Sevilla. Then Arthur in midfield, who came off early against Sevilla. I think he's definitely going to start against Inter. Then you've got Rakitic and Busquets there cementing that midfield. And I think overall, against most teams, that team would be a strong one. It has a lot of threat, has a lot of good things in the front three here. These three are all very capable of scoring and creating goals, and you've got your balance in midfield. So nothing too drastic, nothing too crazy, but I think this team right here is certainly capable of getting some results. And just before we do move on to those other shapes and formations, I just want to show you this and just pose a question really, because I think this is something that Valverde really could do going into the Clasico. I'm thinking now about the Clasico only. 4-3-3 in that kind of shape, but Sergio Roberto here in an almost right midfield / right wing position ahead of Nelson Semedo, and I know what Valverde would be thinking. He did play here away at the Bernabeu when we were without Messi, when it was a 4-0 victory. Roberto was roaming in these kind of areas, but I think here he would certainly try and marshal the oncoming runs of Marcelo. Marcelo, of course, left back at Real Madrid, still a really big threat in their team. He's the only man actually to score in the last 5 hours of Real Madrid's La Liga action, and I think here Roberto would marshal him well with Semedo on that right side. You would sacrifice some attacking quality, but you've still got Coutinho and Suarez over here who could get the job done. That is a potential outlet for Valverde, a potential change. Will we see Roberto in those kind of areas? But like I say guys, surely at some stage we will see Malcolm in the starting lineup, and I would love to see it if it happened exactly like this. Now this wouldn't be a lineup that you could use in absolutely any game, but I think against the likes of Rayo Vallecano, that kind of opposition, you could get away with this kind of shape. Same back four, you've got Arthur and Busquets here anchoring that midfield as a duo. I think they could be really, really effective, so comfortable on the ball. They've got all that control there, and they're very good defensively as well, both of them. And then 4 quality attacking players. Look at that quartet, and that will scare any opposition defence. Coutinho here in a central position, so much creativity, so many balls going through him, and also he could then compete in a midfield trio if he does need to at any point. You've got Malcolm and Dembele either side, both of them capable of working back if they need to do that. But going forward, it is sensational. Malcolm from the left, a lot of pace down here, and a lot of accuracy as well in the area. Dembele down the right, you know what he's capable of, and Suarez up top, feeding from all of these chances that he is going to be getting. A very, very exciting team, certainly attacking orientated, exactly what Barcelona is about, and without Messi, I think we could use this to really give ourselves a boost, to create more chances, and hopefully outscore our opposition. Against somebody like Rayo, they would be on the receiving end of several goals against this team. I'm sure of it. And then finally, guys, you knew it was coming. Deep down, you knew this was coming, because with Valverde, we have to talk about 4-4-2. I think with Messi out, it is a very, very big possibility that we are going to see this formation at some point. And I also wouldn't forget about this man here, Rafinha. He's somebody that can be used in a wider area, central, and as part of the front three. And without Messi there, I think we could certainly see Rafinha against a team in Inter, of course, who he did play for. So that's a possibility. But I think we could see 4-4-2 simply to shore everything up. Valverde will want to be cautious. He won't want to give anything away. He won't want to lose games. And I think Rakitic and Busquets in midfield is something that we did definitely see. Coutinho from the left, something like Rafinha from the right. And then it's what you do really with regard to the two forwards. Because usually Valverde would just put Suarez up here and Messi alongside him and let them get on with it. But without Messi, you've got to be a bit more creative. You've got to go with somebody there who can give you an impact alongside Suarez. Maybe it'll be Dembele. Maybe it will be Malcolm. Maybe perhaps it could even be Munir El Haddadi. Play 2 strikers up front. See how that goes. It would be interesting to see who would be best suited. Playing off of Suarez, I would personally like to see Malcolm there. Whether Valverde will do that, we will have to wait and see. But I think 4-4-2, like I say, it is very likely that without Messi, we will see this formation at some stage. But regardless of shapes or formations or whatever you want to do out on the field in terms of setting up, like I said at the start of the video, guys, the most important thing with Messi's absence is to share around that responsibility. Each player out there has got got to take on that mantle and try to show why they're at Barca, why they're here, and why they've got that quality. Suarez has to be a leader. He's got to take on that mantle now, score the goals, play as a creator as well, because we've also got to not only stop the goals of Messi and try to recreate the goals of Messi, but also all that creativity that he provides. All of those passes from deep. The midfield have got to be better. They've got to work harder. You've got so many areas to fill where Messi will help you out, and it's going to be fascinating in the weeks to come to see how this team and Valverde handles the loss of Messi. So leave your thoughts down below, guys. How do you think we're going to do it? How do you think our results are going to be over the next 3 weeks? I myself am confident. Obviously, Messi is a massive, massive blow and would be to any team in the world, and I can't wait to see him back. But I do want to see how we react here, and most importantly, how Valverde gets the maximum out of the players that we've still got to get them to reach that level of getting results without Messi. But like I say, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I will see you tomorrow for the preview for that Inter game. I'll see you then. But until then, as always, Pesca El Barça.